People, I want to talk to you about what's inevitable at this point. This disease outbreak has went to. People have went to the stores and they have cleared the shelves. And then there's been a quarantine and then they can't get anything. Listen up. We have a small window of opportunity here in the United States to prep 8 weeks. I'll tell you why 8 weeks in a second, but you really should have about 8 weeks of canned goods, things that you're going to eat, not things that don't have high protein and would get you through being sick. I'm not knocking on ramen noodles, but really they don't have a lot of nutrients in them that you can use to make your body healthy. Um, you need to start having vitamin C. Um, Emergency is a high amount of it. You need to have B12, either in a pill form or a liquid sublingual that you hold your tongue up and use it that way. That you have to keep that in the fridge. You need a multivitamin. These are just the essentials that are maybe going to get you through something, but you need a canned good for 3 meals a day, whatever it takes, however many it takes. Chicken noodle soup and Tylenol is what they are now prescribing in the I said that wrong, the Nebraska hospital. In Nebraska is where they ship those people to. Okay? Listen, this is exactly what you're going to be looking at if you don't get food now, like right now. They're already saying it's in the US. They're not giving the right numbers. It's exploding just like Milan, and this is Milan Twitter, Milan, Italy. Okay? Listen. Put together a list of things that you eat every day and what you need. See with a calculator how many days it would take to get you through 8 weeks. Okay? Try to keep it inexpensive so it's not breaking your budget. It's not going to cost you any more in the long run. It'll be the same amount you would spend on food. And keep in mind, you may not be able to go out to eat. So those people going out to eat, you better learn how to cook, do something. Pop a lid on a can, put it in the microwave. So chicken noodle soup, things that, make sense. Ravioli, things that vitamins, minerals. You want to get some greens and some beans and stuff. But really, I'm not just saying this. Bottled water too. They just recently shut off the ability for some bottled water companies, I don't want to name them by name, to even use their wells because it's sucking the water dry out of some of these aquifers. The natural aquifers in some of these cities and towns that are around there have put injunctions against them. There'll be a time where you won't be able to get bottled water. Okay. So I'm just saying that you need to stock up now before the shelves look like this. Here's why. Okay. First, I'll go to the 8-week plan. The 8-week plan would be when the entire United States is sick for 4 weeks straight, these shelves cannot be replenished if the truck drivers are sick. If the people who work in the factories that make the things that go on these shelves are sick, you're not going to get anything on these shelves. Okay? I'm having to move this picture to stay up. Understand what I'm saying, people. If you don't stock up now while people are healthy and can turn around and replenish those shelves, if everybody goes at the last minute, in 5 minutes flat, and if the truckers are sick and the people that go to the factories are sick, they can't replenish these shelves. And truckers aren't born every day. The people that are working in them factories aren't trained every day. And they all use the same break room, and they're all going to get sick. The whole plant, whatever plant it is, it doesn't matter if they make a widget or a what's it. Doesn't matter if they pack meat or cut up chicken or if it's the produce. It will not be done when everyone is sick and feels like they are dying. and most of them are on ventilators and in the hospital. Some people are saying we got like, something like they're throwing out numbers like, you know, 4 days and from this happening, and everybody being sick and it just enveloping the United States. Listen, I'm going to say this: go now while the truck drivers. It'll actually help the economy if you go now and buy the food you would need for anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks, because first it's going to be 4 weeks that you're sick, okay? And it's going to be 2 more weeks that you're sick, but that doesn't mean that these people in these factories are going to be well already at the same time that you need them to be back to work. Some of them are dying. They need to retrain people. And I'll tell you, there are warehouses that I've seen stocked to the ceilings, okay, with canned goods. But if the truckers can't get it to you, people, you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. So while we can still supply this stuff, don't go in and buy things you don't necessarily need, but keep this in mind too. Let's say that you can't get bread because there's no bread on the shelves. Well, go ahead and buy some flour and some yeast and a bread pan. And if you so feel the need to while you are home and something happens to the supply, because everybody buys it at the last minute, like you can't tell them, I'm telling you now to buy it, but not everybody's going to get this. Or maybe you could share it and the whole United States will be like, hey, you know what? We do need to go ahead and maybe grab 2 to 4 weeks worth of food now each. Then tomorrow go back and get 2 more weeks. And then tomorrow, maybe in the next few days, and they'll see that we're ramping up buying stuff, and they'll keep them stocked and they'll buy more, order more. And then that last day, everybody will have stocks and there'll be stuff on the shelves. Okay. If you use ground beef, get ground beef and put it in your freezer. Enough for how many weeks, however much you use in a week. You've got to do this, people, or it's going to look like this. If everybody goes to the last minute, it's going to look like this, and there won't be a driver if we're all sick. And it may take a lot of us out because we're older. They're saying that people have pre-existing conditions. I'm calling BS on that. I say it's a weapon, and I think the human condition, what we all have, is enough that, look, I have the human condition. It may kill me. It's designed to kill people. And the truth is, there are healthy children that have died. There was healthy doctors that have died. Let me tell you something. If you think you're healthier than those doctors that were over in there in China, I got news for you. A lot of them walk to work. They walk every day. You don't walk every day, and I don't walk every day. Okay, unless you're some kind of a marathon walker or runner, and then you got me on that. And you might live. You might be the one that lives. Okay, but your shelf is going to look like this unless you learn how to drive a truck and want to drive a truck, right? People, I'm being real. It will happen here. It has happened in Wuhan. It has happened in other, smaller Chinese cities, and they welded them in the houses and stuff. And look, what I expect to happen is not all that for here, but I fully expect this. This happens. We know this. Listen, every holiday, every Christmas, you can't find stuff you need on the shelves because people buy the last scrap. Okay? Every time there's a holiday and you want to buy something about that holiday, there'll be one last scrap of it left on the shelf and people pick it dry. And somebody come up and buy that too. People in America buy bread, milk, and eggs. It's always been my philosophy, and I've always joked about it, saying they must all be making French toast. I can't see what the cinnamon looks like. I ain't been on the cinnamon aisle and sugar, but you need that too. But I think they're making French toast. I think when it rains, everybody makes French toast because ain't nobody drinking that much milk and eggs and bread. But to be serious about this, that stuff will be gone too. And those little route truck drivers, they will be sick too if the entire country gets this. If you're going to stock up, you better stock up now. Okay. And then it will actually, like I said, it will be able to be replenished daily for the next however many days it is that we're still healthy and able to do stuff, people. So all I'm telling you is don't go crazy and wipe out the shelves on purpose, but start building you $25 at a time. It's the best insurance policy you ever had that says that, hey, no one's going to come to your house and feed you. You can feed yourself by popping a can on some soup and putting it in a bowl and heating up in the microwave. You know, it's what your great grandmother recommended for being sick, and it evidently is what the Nebraska hospital up there, research hospital, that and Tylenol to keep the fever down is what people are using. So, look, I'm nobody to tell anybody to do anything. I already know this is going to happen. I figured I would put my opinion out there, and if some people say, hey, that's a novel idea, get it now, because it's going to happen. Wipe it out now, you know, little at a time as you can, so that everybody wipes it out together, but then the next day they can get a little bit more and a little bit more. But stock up and have 8 weeks supply. Because if all the truckers get sick, let's say they even did live through it and they're all sick for 4 weeks, but they got sick 2 weeks after you people, right? Well, guess what? That could be 10 weeks, 12 weeks before they can replenish these shelves. You see where I'm coming from, people? I'm just coming from reality and supply and demand and supply chain and how things really work. And I'm just trying to, I know a friend of mine told me, hey man, your channel has really changed with this corona. Yeah, well, not exactly. Because it's always been about teaching truckers stuff they should have learned in trucking school that they don't teach. Like how to change a turbo boot and a clamp, how to keep them off the side of the mountain from freezing to death. But it's also about, hey, here's a heads up. This affects you and the news ain't telling it. And this is what's really going on. Or, you know, we don't have an app that tells us when there's a bridge out somewhere and it could be a major catastrophe if you just planned your trip that way and it costs you all the fuel to go around it. I'll tell them ahead of time, you know, storms and stuff. We don't have a Trucker Newsnet app like they do with ham radio, the WeatherNet. This is Operation Hot Biscuit. Well, I didn't make this happen. I'm just telling about it and explaining it in a way that when I saw those people shaking and I'm like, that's a nerve agent, this is a biological weapon, this is not a drill. You can go back where I put it up. I'm just trying to let you know the effects of things and how it's going to affect you. Okay. And so if we can live through this, if we can survive this, the only way we're going to survive this is to have stocks of food in your own house, because it's not going to be here. You're not going to see it when you go to the store. So this is Milan, Italy. It just happened to them that this thing happened. But it's got a high infection rate, high it's highly infectious. It means it's going to spread so fast, like lightning. I didn't expect it to be in this country this fast, but then of course we brought some people here, but it's not something that's controllable, or they would have been able to have kept it in the lab in the first place. And the truth is, they now found that when they researched back, some of the scientists there in China, to make money on the side, and some of them made millions off of some more expensive animals over a time of selling them. They were selling the animals that they had just done biological weapons research on, genetic research on, and given those animals diseases. They were selling them to the market. So if this did get out the market, it's because they put it in the lab rat or the lab test subject and then turn around and sold that rare animal to that market. But they say there were cases that weren't even having anything to do with that market. So that was probably the researcher that caught it. They said some of them got bit by bats or something. I don't know. Doesn't at this point matter. Just know it's not the flu. And yes, you can wash your hands, but washing your hands is not going to keep you from getting this. You need eye protection that seals around your face. You need a mask that seals around your nose. Somebody's going to have to be the trendy one to wear these first, because no one seems to want to wear it. They don't understand, like SARS, like China understood SARS, and they're all of a sudden wearing masks. It's because they knew. And in some places they were wearing some kind of masks anyways, because the atmosphere was so bad. But it caught on real fast when somebody even whispered the word SARS. So this is SARS 7.0. If they say it's got DNA from HIV in it, which is why the HIV medication is helping some of them, what they call the ones that are going to die. They call it compassionate care. If they just try something out on them, hey, they're going to die anyway. And some of them it has helped. But I got to tell you, we're not built for this. But other than, social distancing, staying away from people and all this stuff, at least you can wear some surgical gloves. Wear some gloves, go shopping, get what you need, wash your hands. Use the wipes for the buggies too across the bar. They're free out front, or bring your own bleach wipes. But really, bleach is not, so they say, doesn't kill it. So I would soak some in peroxide too. Get you some peroxide and put it in a spray bottle for your home to clean your home. There's all kinds of things that you would need that they're not probably going to have on shelves. Like I said, if you can learn how to make bread, canned food, and keep it at about $1 a can, and ration it, and use a calculator. Say, hey, if I ate however many cans in a day, how long would it last? Go by that, because you will find you'll be leaning on that real soon. I'm telling you, this is going to be, we are no different. And there's some that are running around and not being tested. There's rumors that there's some doctors that have even said that they've said, hey, if they show flu symptoms, that they weren't going to test them. I don't know about that. Some of that's just rumors, but I wouldn't put it past them. And it's at this point, he used to be the Surgeon General for the United States. So I really think that some more leadership needs to stand up and put brakes on, close schools, close lots of places till we find out just how bad the saturation is here in the United States. Test everyone that even has a temperature or asks for it. Get it to the CDC. Get more states there. They put out some kits that were bad, that didn't work. Now there's 4 states. So before it was just California, Illinois, and Nevada, and of course CDC in Georgia. But they added another state to that. But that's not enough when you got 50 states and millions in each state. They got to get on top of actually making this work and quarantining and all that, or it will not work. And they tried what they called a quarantine on that ship, but they didn't quarantine the subjects on the ship. They just kept them on the ship. They all walked around hanging out with each other. They all got sick. It was a disaster because the people didn't get it. They thought, oh, we're still on vacation. I don't know. Get your food before it looks like this. If you're hearing this, I'm talking to you, and you should be talking to others. Share this video, click like, subscribe, whatever. That's fine. Or dislike it and don't share it, and try in 3 or 4 or 5 weeks when the shelves look just like this. Everybody's sick, and the people that run the routes to replenish it are also sick. It's going to happen fast. It's going to happen all at once. We're looking at the RO factor having it global in 5 to 6 months, and people can catch it twice. So it doesn't necessarily mean that person that works in that plant that comes back to work won't catch it again from the same break room, or that the driver of the little route won't get a second time that he's sick and be out another 4 or 6 weeks. And truly, they need to be quarantining people after they have it for 18 days to 30 days, because it's, fecal transmission, and they need to check that too. So that's all I got. I just want to say this. People, if you don't stock up now, everybody's going to go have the same idea, thinking they're going to save up. $25 a week is a good insurance policy against this right here. Okay? Like I said, there'll be a day when a shovel, an old rusty shovel with no handle, is worth $100 bill just to have a garden. And I would say start planting one now. Get powdered potatoes in a box they store, instant potatoes. But in the meantime, plant a garden and buy some potatoes, and then plan on putting them in there and growing more. Grow tomatoes. Start from seed, buy some plants, and buy canned tomatoes now because you won't be able to get them. It's already canned for you at the store right now. It's going to be a lot more difficult if you're trying to grow it. Sustenance living is difficult. So it may be good, and you may have some radishes and things like that that'll help you, and some greens, but it's actually just cheaper to buy it by the can and then see what you can do with the garden if you've never done it before. So, and it's inexpensive now. Supply and demand, wait till it's all bought out. And we've had all of these flooding events that have kept farmers from even being able to grow hay. And I've talked to people who I've met that have told me, hey, we couldn't even supply our customers for their horses or their cows enough hay for this year, and we only had like 1/3 of it, of what we had before. Understand what I'm saying? That we've got the same problem with corn, and there's countries that are now they're begging from, or stealing from Peter to pay Paul. They're one country that has I'm telling you, China's going to have locusts too. They've got a problem. They put ducks out to catch them, but that's not going to do it. So it's kind of crazy. There's a problem with locusts right now that's taking out all these countries' corn, and that affects us because our companies here in the U.S. will sell to them. And then there's other companies that are buying from other countries in the U.S. because they can't get it from here. So everybody's shuffling. They're kicking the can down the road. There's a guy that talks more about that on YouTube. There's a couple of them. But I'm just telling you, this is the reality of it. You don't want to see this when you go to the store. So start stocking up now. $25 a week, $50 a week, whatever you got for the next few weeks. Even if you make it look like this now, we can replenish it now. We will not be able to replenish this when everybody comments below. That's all I got. I'm out. Stay safe. Peace.